Hi, I'm Alistair, the grumpy CIO. What am I grumpy about this week? I'm grumpy about small companies not taking advantage of the scale that you have to avoid some of the disengagement that IT departments feel in larger companies because most IT departments are marxist in nature. It's like, whoa, what do I mean by that? Well, look at there's a famous picture here. We rule you, we fool you, we shoot at you, we eat for you, we feed you all. It's a model of society that some people still believe in or not, but certainly if you work in an IT department in a major organization, I've had, that's really a lot of the feeling. And as a former project manager in my earlier, younger days in an IT department, and then program manager and things with fancier titles, but the same thing, I've really felt like a shop foreman, protecting the workers, hopefully, from the management above. It's terrible. And it really, really, really is like that. So, in many ways, the IT department in many organizations are a shadow proletariat. They're an underground organization scurrying under every department. They're like a mirror organization under every single department. You have the department, and the CIO has to map out all the business units, and they're supporting underneath them. Finance could be considered to be kind of similar as well, but certainly finance don't get insulted to their face. Certainly nobody insults payroll to their face because they want to get paid. But there's a respect for being in a grudging respect, but a respect for someone being in a finance department. Whereas IT people, you can just insult. It's just part of corporate culture. That's an insultable group of people. Why? I remember part of being an overpaid contractor is I sat there go, well, I'm being paid a lot to just put up with this nonsense. So it's just part of standard world. Most IT people, possibly not including myself, but most IT people are highly skilled and intelligent workers. They also don't fit in the wage band. So in most organizations, the highest member of like an IT massive team will be at like level 3 of 7. The band structure, as agreed with the unions, don't fit with that, so they can't get paid. So they get forced into contracting. Contracting really does make you feel that it is time for your labor, and not meant to be, not feeling like you're part of the company. You often don't have sign off into systems that you would have otherwise. There's excessive time sheeting, perhaps like a lawyer in a law firm, but at least a lawyer in a law firm, you're very much self-employed within it, and you do own some of what you're doing. You've got to report up to a partner. Whereas an IT person, you're every 15 minutes of your life, sometimes in a timesheet, you are just selling your labor. So you really do feel not a sense of ownership of the company. You feel really frustrated quite often, and this feeling of being one of the ignored proletariat who's actually doing all the work lives with you, and you end up with these complex Benjamins. And when I say Benjamins, I'm talking Animal Farm, not P. Diddy, and this is Benjamin from the 1954 film. So complex characters that quite often feel as though they're carrying the weight of the organization, but also critical of the organization. Benjamin was very critical of the pigs, very critical of Napoleon. That's the pig, not the French emperor. If you haven't seen the film, read the book, and go back and look. So this is something that you can avoid if you're in a small company. How? How do you change it? Well, you can just change it from being a Marxist-style organization to maybe being ultra-capitalist by just giving people lots of options. Yeah, but no. Options are a very important part, particularly in a sort of a startup environment where you can afford to give more to be a larger part of the company. But they're not the sole driver. Most people don't get out of bed in the morning going, gosh, I'm going to maximize the value of my options. They like to know that they have done, but it's not really, in my experience, what turns it around. There's this book, Turn the Ship Around, which my business partner Daniel introduced to me, which really, really fits well. It's ownership of decisions. So there's a thing called a submarine that's set up, and if you're in the engine department, the turbine department, torpedoes or whatever, you have ownership of particular areas rather than just everything end up at the captain. You give people ownership of decisions. You give IT people ownership of decisions. They feel like they own the part of the company together. It's a collective effort. And this happened to us. We're a search engine. There was part of the search algorithm, part of the search scoring that one of our people disliked. So she changed it, demonstrated where we are, and we'll continue to involve it. But she didn't just sit there going, that's wrong. I wouldn't have done that if I were one of the bosses. Ownership of decisions, and all the way through the way we work, and all the way through most small companies can work, is to have your IT team really owning part of your business. But it so often doesn't happen. There's just a business focused person ruling the roost over things that they don't understand, and the IT staff just shrug their shoulders and go, yep, the pigs have made another decision. Napoleon is always right. So don't do that. Give ownership of decisions to your staff. Avoid having a disgruntled proletariat that doesn't really want to work for you. Thanks for watching. I'm Alistair, the Grumpy CIO of shipshape.vc. We are the free venture capital search engine. Come to us to optimize your investor outreach. Find the VCs that get what you're talking about. Thank you.